Welcome back into the show. Lunch break. Chris Schubert with you. KDUS AM 1060. Hey, if you're listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app, or you're streaming us online on the KDUS website, KDUS1060.com, you listen for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks when they take on the Rockies Saturday, May 17th at Chase Field. Make sure you get there early. You can pick up the replica home jersey at the game and stick around afterwards for an awesome post-game fireworks show. Get your tickets at dbacks.com/SGT. We're giving away a 4-pack for listening either on the app or streaming us online, but you got to be registered and logged in order to be entered, in order to win. So we've got that. A couple more days, I think, on that giveaway before we will pick the winner, and you'll be going to the game on Saturday against the Colorado Rockies. Was reading a story this morning on the SI Cardinals page by Richie Bradshaw. It's titled, Projecting the 2025 Stats for Cardinals Quarterback Kyler Murray. Kyler has been the center of every single conversation we've had about the expectations for this team in 2025. We have said that as Kyler goes, this team is going to go. I'll spoil something for you. We already have a segment planned for Thursday's show when the schedule gets released. And no, it's not the ever-famous win-loss game. We are doing that. But we already have a segment built out where we want to circle the games on the calendar that we think are most important for Kyler Murray to perform well in. He's the center of everything. Because I know how this team is built. This team is built with a defense that has undergone major surgery, a major renovation project, not just a new coat of paint in the living room. We're knocking down walls. We're running new electrical, a complete makeover of this defense. I also know that last year, this offense predicated on running the football. Kyler Murray, a complementary piece to this offense. But you and I both know that in 2025, this version of the NFL, you got to have a quarterback who can win you football games. You have to have a quarterback who can elevate above everybody else. I'm going to ask the resident Philadelphia Eagles fan on the show who's doing victory laps every day that his team won a Super Bowl. Your team last year predicated a lot on the guy in the backfield wearing 26, running all over the place, having us question what an MVP is in the NFL. No?
Yeah.
Still needed Jalen Hurts to make some big throws. Still needed Jalen Hurts to step up and make big plays, correct?
In the biggest game of the year, Jalen was the reason they won that game. The defense was great too, but Jalen was the reason they won that game.
If the Arizona Cardinals are going to meet our expectations, and we have said they have to make the playoffs this season, those are the expectations. Kyler Murray can't just be a passenger. Kyler Murray at times on this road trip is going to have to get behind the wheel and steer the car. He is not the passenger princess for all 17 weeks of this road trip. He is at times going to have to get out and replace with the other. There are going to be weeks where the defense is going to be behind the wheel of the car. There are going to be weeks where James Conner, Trey Benson, and the running game is going to be behind the wheel of the car. But there are going to be weeks where Kyler Murray is going to have to be behind the wheel of the car. And he's going to be the one looking at the GPS. And he's going to be the one that's going to have to get off the one highway and make sure he gets on the other highway so that this team can still follow the GPS and hit their destination. It's going to be a team effort. Kyler Murray is going to play a significant role. And so when I saw this story today predicting his stats for 2025, I found it interesting. And Richie goes through the pass numbers for Kyler, what his averages have been, and comes up with projections for passing yards, for touchdowns, and for interceptions. And this is where he ends his conclusion. His final prediction is 3,500 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. Now, in our morning meeting today, I shared this story and I shared this topic. And I kept my opinion to myself because I always like to see what producer Evan's immediate reaction is to a story. Because then I know if he has the same reaction as I do, and then I know we've got something. Or if we disagree, I know we've got something. So I shared these numbers with you. And the first thing that producer Evan said to me today, when I read those numbers out to him, when I put the story up on our big screen where we look at different topics, he said, that's not going to be good enough. You said to me, is that going to be enough? And that was exactly the reaction I had. 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Just looking at those numbers, that's not a playoff team. That's not a playoff quarterback. That's not a team that's going to win enough football games to make the postseason. But we took it a step further. I looked at where those numbers would sit in the NFL last year. 3,500 yards would be outside of the top 15 quarterbacks. I think we said it would be 20th. The 20 touchdowns would be around 15 last year in the NFL. The interceptions, 14 interceptions, would be fourth most. Only 3 quarterbacks threw more interceptions in a season than Kyler. Across the board, not good enough. Needs to be better. Needs to be more towards his season average. Now, let's pull up Kyler Murray's career season numbers if we can. If you could do that, Producer Evan, for me, because my tablet has decided that it wants to freeze right now. But I would venture a guess that when we pull this up, when we look at these numbers, that Kyler Murray, for his average throughout his career, is going to be higher than 3,500 passing yards. His touchdowns are going to be around that, maybe a little bit more than 20. And so the question then becomes, does he have to be better than what he's been in his career? Does he need to be better than taking the best case scenario out of his career numbers? What does this need to look like?
Take a 17-game average
throughout
his whole career.
What do those numbers look like?
He has 4,042 yards.
So 40-42 on a 17-game average for yardage.
Touchdowns, 24.
Okay.
Interceptions, 12.
So this story has him coming in well below his 17-game average throughout the course of the season.
Really just in the case of yards. I think 24 touchdowns was exactly the number they hit.
They had 20 touchdowns in the story.
20.
So some more touchdowns.
Couple more touchdowns.
Two less interceptions. Two more interceptions.
Yeah.
But 500 more yards.
It would be, and I just, apart from the years he did not play 14 or more games,
okay,
it would be his least touchdowns. It would be the most interceptions.
Okay.
And it would be...
The 3,500 yards has to be low. It has to be low.
It would be in every season he's played at least 14 games. He's ran past that.
Yeah, the 3,500 yards is a very low end of the spectrum.
But he's never had a 4,000-yard passing season.
Well, yeah, and then the injuries with the smaller sample size is the reason why the 17-game average comes out to about 4,000. And so the reason why I wanted to bring this up is this is a very pessimistic view of what Kyler is going to be. And I'll tell you right now, if we get this Kyler, if we get 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions,
they'll win 6 games.
Not just that, but if that's the Kyler I get with the best roster he's had in years, I'm good. Move on. I don't think that's the Kyler we're going to get next season. I think we are going to get a Kyler that is closer to his 17-game average. Last season, I don't have the numbers in front of me. Producer Evan, what did he do last season?
Last year, he had 3,800 yards. He had 11 interceptions and 21 touchdowns.
And last year, struggled to gain the chemistry with Marvin Harrison Jr. on a consistent enough basis. Another year of Trey McBride in this offense. A defense that really put this team behind the 8 ball quite a bit. I think he needs to be better than that. 3,800 yards. You told me 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
That's the numbers.
He has to be better than that. I think he has to be better than his 17-game average. I think he has to be 4,100 plus yards. He needs to be 25 plus touchdowns, and 10 interceptions has to be the max. But I think all of those numbers are possible for Kyler Murray.
Let me ask you this question. So let's take his 2 best years, 2020 and 2021.
So the COVID season and then the year after the COVID season.
In 2020, he plays 16 games, throws for 39-71, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Is that good enough?
Is that good enough? I don't think it is.
I don't either. In 2021, plays only 14 games, 3,700, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Do you have the team's record both of those seasons?
Yes. 8-8 in 2020, 9-5, 2021. 2021 is the wild card game.
So 1 year, his number is good enough to make the postseason, play a wild card game, and then get embarrassed. The other year, 500, and the numbers were close. 500, don't make the playoffs.
And keep in mind, in 2021, he only played 14 games. I don't know what happened.
Missed a couple games throughout the course of the year, if I remember correctly.
But yeah, so he has the 37, 87, 24, and 10. You know, I think he's just a double-digit interception guy. He's a 11 to 12 interception guy. You know, hopefully we can see him surpass 4,000 yards. We've talked about that as being a huge hurdle for him.
And 25-plus touchdowns.
And 25-plus touchdowns.
Always want to hear from you. 480-864-1060 is the phone number. You can also join us on the YouTube live stream. Michael over there says, I think they're saying this because Cards run a lot and will be trusting the defense. I get that. I understand that there's going to be a lean on this defense. There's going to be a lean on this running game. But I'm going to tell you, if this team is going to lean on their running game the way that they did a year ago, they are not going to make the playoffs. They cannot have the training wheels on this offense. They can be a run-heavy team. They can utilize James Conner. He can be a focal point. But guess what? You saw it last year. You saw last year a heavy focus on running the football. Where did it get them? And the defense at times played really well. And so I'm sorry. I think if this team is going to lean into the old school method of building a football team, where you baby a rookie quarterback by giving him an excellent defense and running the football and not asking him to do too much, you might be able to have a decent amount of success. I do not think you're going to be able to hit this floor of making the playoffs. They need Kyler Murray they don't need him to be great. They don't need him to be elite. They just need him to be above average.
And for a team leaning on the run game, 14 interceptions is unacceptable.
Can't have that either. You can't gift extra possessions to the team. And so I get it. This team's going to be a defense because they have a defensive-minded head coach. They're going to be a defense-heavy team. They're going to run the football because they have a defensive-minded head coach who's going to want to grind it out. I understand that that's what their identity needs to be. But they can't have these numbers from Kyler Murray. Even if they lean into everything everybody wants, 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, will not get it done. Kyler Murray will not have to be the driver every single week. But I think more than 50% of the time, he's going to have to get out of the passenger seat and be behind the wheel of the car. And if these are the types of numbers, if this is the type of driver that he's going to be behind the car, then I think we're going to have a quarterback crisis next summer for this franchise. But I don't think he's going to hit these numbers. I do anticipate a close to, if not career year for Kyler Murray.